Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's presentation of the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legends Series. Taking a live look here at the Rockingham Speedway. We're here for round number 3 on the season. Gonna be a pretty tricky one here tonight. Track is really hot. As you can see, some of the drivers having a little bit of a struggle getting a handle on the car. Gonna be interesting to see how these guys play out this race. Gonna be a good one on strategy, I think. The drivers are looking at about 23 to 26 laps or so on fuel, with this one being an 80-lap race with the halfway break around lap 40. Gonna be interesting to see what these drivers do. We're looking here at Casey Ellis rolling down pit road, the number 35 machine. Now we're looking at Caden Henry Oaks making his series debut in the number 51. Behind him, the 81 at Carson Lucas. Practice wrapping up now, and these drivers are going to be heading on into qualifying. Oh, and I think the 51 team might have to go to a backup car after that hit. Holy cow. Qualifying starting now. These guys separate out into their own individual versions of the session. Get the track to themselves for 5 minutes here to set a lap. Looking here at last week's winner, Tristan Bear, and the number 05213 Similar.com machine there. After a wild finish, Tristan Bear came out on top last week. Let's see what he can do this week here at Rockingham. After lap number 1 for these guys, Blaine Snyder so far at the top of the board. Checkered flag there for Tristan Bear as he jumps up to the 4th spot in qualifying. Lane Myers also done with his 2 laps. Looking here at the 94 at Jimmy Mensch. Just starting his 2 laps here. Ooh, and smacks the wall there on lap number 2. That may invalidate that second lap there. And indeed it does. And meanwhile, as more of these guys have gotten their laps in, it's getting real close to the top 3 within a 10th. But so far, Blaine Snyder still top of the board. Christopher Mixon just finishing up his 2 laps. Still waiting on Rodney Ayers and... shoot, I'm not sure who that is. 48, Wesley Riddle, there we go. Casey Ellis on track, though, in the number 35 machine, just completing his 2nd lap. First lap not counting, but 2nd lap puts him 11th. Now Wesley Riddle in the number 48. Apologies for the overlays not working on his machine. It's a little problem with the sim and my overlays not communicating properly, it appears. Definitely a Jimmy Johnson-inspired scheme there on that one. Checkered flag out here for Wesley Riddle. We'll get the time here in a second. Maybe. Wesley Riddle goes 8th quick. Qualifying just wrapping up. Looks like Blaine Snyder going to hang on and take the pole here tonight at Rockingham in the number 88 machine. Scott McCann in the 12 going to be to his outside when we get upgraded here. Now the field beginning to file up. Before we get into tonight's action, we'll give you the quick rundown on your starting order. Blaine Snyder in the 88 taking the pole in qualifying with Scott McCann in the 12 to his outside. Row number 2 will be the number 81 of Carson Lucas with Brian Hotham in the number 13 to his outside. Row number 3 will be Lane Myers in the 28 and Tristan Barron the 05 to his outside. Row number 4 going to be Caden Henry Oaks in the number 51 with Wesley Riddle in the number 48 to his outside. Row number 5 going to be Jimmy Mensch in the 94 and Aaron Lester in the 86 to his outside. Row number 6 going to be Christopher Mixon in the 57 and the 35 of Casey Ellis. Row number 7 going to be the number 420 of Chris Chimopoulos with Martin Roberg in the 37 to his outside. Row number 8 going to be the 15 of Brett Accord with the number 2 of Christopher Perez to his outside. And rounding up the field tonight in 17th in the 8th and final, or 6th and, wow, I cannot math. I believe, wow, drawing a complete blank, but on his own in the back, Rodney Ayers in the number 17. Everybody has made grid. So now the drivers will start rolling here. Maybe. There he goes. Going to be an interesting race. Might see a little bit of strategy play out here. Drivers were reporting about 23 to 26 laps around their fuel tank. So may end up with a stop in between, in the middle of the field, or in the middle of each section of the race. Halfway caution on lap number 40. Race goes to 80. Gonna be interesting to see what these guys do with strategy. So when they come down, only gonna be in the mid-teens or so left until the stage break at halfway. But for now, pace truck, pace car enters the pit lane, and we are green flag here at Rockingham Speedway. Blaine Snyder getting the early jump in the 88 machine. Carson Lucas and Scott McCann side by side for second, though, out of turn number 2. Oh, Christopher Mixon in the back. Looks like Christopher Mixon has had an issue. He tags the inside wall. Heavy front end damage, and that will bring out our first yellow on lap number 1. Heavy front end damage there. Left front pointing one direction, right front pointing the other. Should be able to get it back to pit road though. In the meantime, we'll take a look back to see what happened here. Unfortunately, it looks like he may have lost it on his own. Yeah, just gets a little sideways, rear end steps out from underneath him. From there, he was just a passenger. That hard hit, knocking off the front bumper. And heavy damage to the front end. But still early in this race. These drivers are given a fast repair. Should be able to get that fixed and get back out here. So far, after one lap completed under green, Blaine Snyder still holding on to the number 1 spot. Martin Roberg, after a qualifying ban, still sitting 15th. And I believe Christopher Mixon should pit here. So far, opting to stay out. It's a little bit of a strange call, but maybe he feels that handling isn't quite as bad as it could be, but he opts to stay out here. So the field gets the 1 to go signal, and the entire field doubling up here. Pace car will make the hard left back onto pit road. We'll be back to green flag racing here at Rockingham. Carson Lucas jumps up to second in the 81 machine. Using that top line might be the way to go here for some speed, but we'll have to see how that gauges the tires here later on in this run. Oh, sounded like we had an accident there. In the back, yellow flag is out. Casey Ellis, Christopher Perez going around. Take a look back here. Oh, looks like the 420 got into the wall. Casey Ellis had to take avoiding action and collects the number 2. Christopher Perez both go for a spin. Heavy damage there to the front end on Casey Ellis's machine. Damage doesn't look too bad on the number 2 Christopher Perez's machine. But this early in the race, these guys may opt to pit here and fix the damage. Just to get it done and out of the way early. Pit road is open this time. The only one opting to come down is Casey Ellis with that front end damage. Field getting the one to go signal there. Field will form up double file. Restart will be on Blaine Snyder once again in the 88. Looks like in the back, Casey Ellis making his way back out onto the field. He'll stay on the lead lap. I think he got most of his damage repaired. Pace car back on the pit road. Leaders fire off. Green flag back in the air. Carson Lucas not wasting any time to challenge for that race lead. He goes all the way down to the bottom on Blaine Snyder. Side by side on entry, but Snyder still holding on to the advantage. Oh, little sideways there for Lucas off exit. Lucas with a little bit of run going into turn number 1. Closes back in on your leader in the 88, Blaine Snyder. Ooh, little contact with the wall there for Carson Lucas. Looks to the inside. Snyder shuts the door, though, into 3. That checks both of them up, and now McCann, Myers, and Caden Henry Oaks in the fight now. Top 5 nose to tail. Couple cars scraping the wall there through 1 and 2. Caden Oaks makes the move up past Lane Myers for 4th at the moment. Martin Roberg already charged up through the field, up to 6th now. These guys using every inch of this surface so far. Ooh, heavy contact there with the wall for Lucas. That opens the door for Scott McCann on his outside. Battle for second here. McCann going to have to run off the corner. He'll take second at the line. Ooh, Lane Myers in the back there. Gets spun, collects Jimmy Mensch as well. Yellow flag is in the air. Both drivers able to get their cars refired. But Lane Myers once again involved in something here. Atlanta is almost back-to-back cautions that he got collected in, got damage. Once again here at Rockingham, you can see his nose dangling there. Definitely some damage on the front end of that machine. We'll take a look back here at the incident. A little latency there from Carson Lucas. Looks like that may have spooked 28 Lane Myers, and he went down. And the 94 Jimmy Mensch making contact with him from there. Oh no, it was prior to that he got checked up by the 81, prior to him blinking. But the end result, Lane Myers and the 28 going around, as well as the 94 of Jimmy Mensch. Most of the field coming in for pit stops here. Only a few stayed out. Scott McCann in the 12, 51 of Caden Henry Oaks, Martin Roberg in the 37, 48 of Wesley Riddle, and the 86 of Aaron Lester staying out. But the rest of your field coming down for service. And as a reminder, when we get back going green, going to be about 20 laps until our halfway break. Might be enough to make the difference up here if it stays green. So far, 3 cautions in this one, 19 laps complete. But at the front of this one, 5 cars here staying out on the tires that they started this race with. And just about 20 laps until our halfway break. Base car back onto pit lane. That leaves it in the hands of Scott McCann. Green flag back in the air. Scott McCann getting the early jump. Caden Henry Oaks hot on his heels, though. The Blaze Center there on the fresh tires. Already looking at third. Side by side with Mark Roberg into turn number 3. Just as we say that, battle for the lead as well. Caden Henry Oaks looking to the bottom on Scott McCann. He'll get that pass done easy. Just clears the number 12. Mark Roberg looks to follow him through and do the same. Side by side with McCann for second. Snyder looked down to the inside on Scott McCann in the 12. Momentarily was there, but backs up a little now. A couple cars making contact with the wall. Snyder with a run down the backstretch, side by side with Scott McCann in the 12. Now Rodney Ayers up in this fight in the top 5. Rodney Ayers takes over the 5th spot in the number 17 car. He'll look down to the inside on Blaine Snyder. Carson Lucas still in this fight as well. Oh, Ayers got a little loose off of turn number 4 there. Slips up just a bit. But at the front of this one, Martin Roberg has closed in on your leader, Caden Henry Oaks, in the 51. Just trying to find a lane around him if he can. 15 to go, this time by until our halfway break. Mandated halfway caution, just like the Arkham Menard series does in real life. We replicate that here in the sim for the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legend series. Nose to tail here though, 1, 2, and 3 up front in this one, and all guys surprisingly on old tires. Caden Henry Oaks, see Martin Roberg's peak down to the bottom there. Covers him off well. But still nose to tail here at the front of this one. Take a look back here for your battle from 4th on back. Rodney Ayers now up to the 4th spot. Blaine Snyder 5th. Then Carson Lucas and Wesley Riddle side by side for 6th. Ooh, Lucas got a little too high there. Tagged the wall. That'll give the spot up to Wesley Riddle, at least for the moment. Side by side now for your 5th spot. Carson Lucas looking out to the top side on Blaine Snyder. Doesn't quite get the spot done there. Now Aaron Lester back there in the 8th position. Looking to the outside there on Wesley Riddle. Lucas down to the bottom on Blaine Snyder. Side by side for your 5th spot. Snyder hangs on to it for now. Now at the front, Roberg still close, hot on the heels of Caden Henry Oaks. Now Rodney Ayers up here, and we have a caution. So the 13 of Brian Hotham involved. Doesn't like too bad a damage. We'll take a look back and see what happened. Bring out our 4th yellow of the night on lap number 31. Ooh, gets tagged from behind by the 35 of Casey Ellis. We're going to try to find another view of this one here. This gets a little high. I think he was just trying to stay out of the wall. Got in the brakes. And Casey Ellis not able to react in time. Just gets him just a little bit loose. No contact with the wall, though. But Brian Hotham goes around to bring out our 4th yellow on the night. A couple more guys here opting to pit. Jimmy Bench, Lane Myers, Wesley Riddle. Martin Roberg in. As a reminder, these guys will have to stop at the competition caution once again here in just a few short laps at lap number 40. But now your running order at the front. Caden Henry Oaks still out to the advantage here in the lead in the number 51. Rodney Ayers in 2nd in the number 17. And then in the number 12, Scott McCann up to 3rd. Blaine Snyder in the 88, 4th. Carson Lucas in the 81, 5th. Aaron Lester in 6th in the 86. Tristan Bear in the 05 in 7th. Brett Accord in the number 15 and 8th. Christopher Mixon getting his damage fixed in the number 57, is sitting 9th. Christopher Perez in the number 2, sitting 10th. And Brian Hotham, after his spin, stays out, moves up to the 11th spot. And Martin Roberg, your first car on fresh tires here, in 12th. Wesley Riddle in the 48, 13th. Lane Myers in the 28, 14th. Casey Ellis in the 35, 15th. Jimmy Mensch, 16th, in the number 94. Just exiting the pits and might have gotten a little bit of damage there. And Chris Chimopoulos, who is 5 laps down in the number 420, rounds out your field in 17th. But now, caution lights out on the pace car. We'll be back going. Green flag racing this time by 6 laps until our halfway break. No points awarded at the halfway break, though. Just a mandatory caution. Cars will stop and have the option of pitting. But for now, pace car will make the hard left back onto pit road. That leaves in the hands of Caden Henry Oaks. Green flag back out in the air. Number 51, Caden Henry Oaks out to the early jump there. Rodney Ayers, Blaine Snyder, Scott McCann there. All hot on his heels, though. Oh, Blaine Snyder tried to make it 3 wide there. The 12 of Scott McCann getting turned in that one. And another yellow flag going to fly. We'll take a look back here. You see that 88 tried to make it 3 wide middle there. These cars just ran out of room up front in this one. Scott McCann in the 12 going around, though, after contact with the 88. That may end up being our halfway caution. And indeed it is. A lot of these guys looking now to come down pit road, top off on field, maybe take some tires. We'll have to wait and see. And indeed, I think that was close enough that the officials have called that our halfway caution. A couple of the guys that stopped on the previous caution staying out, though, on this one. Martin Roberg, Wesley Riddle, Lane Myers, among others. I believe Chris Chimopoulos, that was, who stayed out as well, trying to get his lap back. Or laps, plural. Scott McCann, though, after his spin on pit road as well. Looks like the 51 of Caden Henry Oaks gonna win the race off pit road. Blaine Snyder second off pit road. Followed closely by Carson Lucas, Tristan Baird, Brett Accord, Brian Hotham, Rodney Ayers, Aaron Lester, Jimmy Mensch, Casey Ellis, Scott McCann, Christopher Perez, and Christopher Mixon. Only 3 cars that stayed out under that caution. Martin Roberg in the 37, Wesley Riddle in the 48, and Lane Myers in the number 28. Field once again getting the 1 to go signal there, forming up double file. First car on fresh tires to watch out for is the number 51 of Caden Henry Oaks. But once again, once the pace car makes its way off of pit road, that'll leave the field in the hands of the 37 of Martin Roberg. Green flag back in the air. Roberg getting the early jump out to your race lead. Side by side for second, though. Caden Henry Oaks in those fresh tires. Momentarily files back into third. But now Wesley Riddle looking to the bottom of Martin Roberg. Not able to make the pass there. Look a little further back. Tristan Bear, Carson Lucas side by side for fifth. Lucas hanging on to that spot for now. But now from here on out, no guaranteed caution. This race will end on lap 80, unless we get overtimes, of course, but as long as it stays green, these guys will have to make a green flag pit stop here. Just about 23 to 26 laps was the estimation here on a full fuel tank. Going to be interesting to see how strategy plays out if it stays green. Carson Lucas with a little peek there on Lane Myers. Thinks better of it though. Ooh, Lucas and Bear into the wall out of turn number 4. We'll be paying attention to the gaps, but we'll take a look back here a little further in the field. Scott McCann and Blaine Snyder mired back in traffic a little bit here. Running 12th and 13th. And McCann making a contact once again with a 12 of Scott McCann. Stewart's going to be not happy about that one, though. Ooh, in contact. Both cars getting pretty sideways there. Oh, and the 12 going to go all the way around. Oh, saves it. Saves it. But he'll go onto pit road. And meanwhile, somewhere in there, Carson Lucas getting spun and going down pit road as well. Chaos here. With just 35 to go this time by. McCann and Lucas making their stops now. Still out front, Martin Roberg. Wesley Riddle, Caden Henry Oaks. Yeah, I'm almost betting that Carson Lucas got some damage there from that contact with the wall. But he does come back out, though. Scored 2 laps down, unfortunately. But with the yellows we've seen already, just past halfway, I'd almost bet that he still isn't out of this one. Scott McCann as well, making his way back out onto the track. Enter contact there with Blaine Snyder. Field starting to spread out a little bit, though. This top 5 still pretty tight. Behind them starting to spread out. Caden Henry Oaks now side by side with Wesley Riddle for second. And Riddle going to lose wholesale spots there. Lane Myers, excuse me, looking to the inside of the 48 machine. Tristan Bear there in tow as well. Caden Henry Oaks starting to close in on your race lead there. Real tight off of turn number 2. Now Mark Roberg looks to defend, goes down to that bottom, maybe trying to aero block. Oh, and there's a car spun, nosed into the wall. I think that is the 420 of Chris Chimopoulos stopped on track. I'm surprised that the iRacing stewards didn't call that, but their admins do call it. Caution flag is out. I'll have to take a look back here and see if we can see what happened there for the 420 of Chris Chimopoulos. Oh, and it was already before that. Ooh, got real tight. Got the wall. I almost wonder if that knocked his right front down. From there, not much you can do. Goes straight up the track in turn number 3. Locks it down, trying to avoid a little more damage, but does indeed bring out our 5th yellow. But now's where things get interesting. Gonna be 24 laps to go, it looks like, when we get back to green flag racing. A lot of the field going to opt to come down here, as from here, these guys may be able to make it on fuel. And indeed, looks like a lot of the field gonna come down here. Scott McCann, though, is staying out. Looks like he's going to get the lucky dog. Carson Lucas may stay out here as well, trying to get a wave around. '37 car going to win the race off pit road, closely followed by the 51 of Caden Henry Oaks, 48 of Wesley Riddle, 05 Tristan Bear, and 28 of Lane Myers going to make up your top 5 when we get back going to green. And the 420 car still stopped on track. I almost wonder if he had some variety of hardware failure. Hopefully the official's able to do something about the car stopped on track. Maybe he'll get his hardware back figured out, but we shall see. So Carson Lucas there getting one of his laps back. He will get the wave around there for staying out. That leaves him the only running car on the lead, or excuse me, only running car one lap down or more. So if there's another yellow, he'll get his lucky dog there and get back on the lead lap. But for now, green flag back in the air. Martin Roberg getting the early jump here. Caden Henry Oaks, Wesley Riddle side by side behind him, though. Blaine Snyder there in the 88 back on the charge. Side by side with Tristan Bear into turn number 3. Bear going to collect the wall a little bit there. Tristan Bear back to the bottom on Blaine Snyder, though. Momentarily it is inside. Back to single file off the corner. Tight racing all throughout this field. Greta Cord side by side with Rodney Ayers. And Ayers going to have the spot off the corner. Back up here, battle for 5th. Tristan Bear, Blaine Snyder side by side once again. Looks like Bear going to have the position off the corner. Back behind for a moment, they looked like they were going to try to go 3 wide, but 2 by 2. Rodney Ayers, Blaine Snyder side by side for 5th, and Lane Myers getting a little sideways there after contact with Brett Accord. He'll hang on to it and hang on to the spot for now. Brett Accord and Brian Hotham look to make it 3 wide on entry. Thought better of it though, as they back out. Back up to the front, Martin Roberg getting a little bit of a challenge here from Caden Henry Oaks for your race lead. Caden to the inside, side by side down the backstretch. Dives it down to the bottom of 3. Still almost at his quarter. Robert clears once again off corner. Blaine Snyder and Lane Myers going at it here for 6th place. Lane Myers getting the spot. Tight racing at the back of the field, especially 6th on back. Everybody's stacked up here. Almost looks like Blaine Snyder may be a little off the pace. Brett Accord had to give him a push through the corner there. Oh. If you heard that, my cat just knocked some shit over. But we're staying green out here on track at Rockingham. And out front, once again, Caden Henry Oaks looking to charge it at the 37 of Martin Roberg. He's just barely able to close onto the quarter of the 37. And we have a caution. 15 of Brett Accord involved. Heavy left front damage to that car. Ooh, looks like he washed up, made contact with the wall. He wasn't able to get it wound back up. Makes heavy contact with the inside wall. But now with that caution, I believe the 81 of Carson Lucas is gonna get his lucky dog here. After getting into the wall in the last long green flag run and having to pit under green to make repairs, I believe he will get his lucky dog here. Indeed he does. But up front, looks like a couple guys might have opted to come down for some fresh tires. Wesley Riddle and the 15 of Brett Accord, as well as the 12 of Scott McCann, 88 Blaine Snyder, and the 13 of Brian Hotham. In no particular order because I couldn't pick one. But now Mark Roberg still gonna show the way here on the green flag. Caden Henry Oaks in second though. First start here in the Bolt Racing League Pre-Legend Series in the number 51 machine. And Tristan Bear, last week's winner, in third in the 05 there. Rodney Ayers fourth in the number 17. Lane Myers fifth in the number 28. Now, a lot of guys that pitted under that yellow will be starting pretty far back. First car on fresh tires going to be the 48 of Wesley Riddle in 11th. But our focus for now will be for the battle up front. Martin Roberg fires off here in the restart zone. Green flag back in the air here at Rockingham. Battle for third. Rodney Ayers to the outside of Tristan Bear. And Lane Myers looked to make it 3 wide momentarily on the bottom. But Ayers going to take away that third spot. Jimmy Mensch following him on the outside in the 94. Oh, and he makes contact with the wall. Might hurt his momentum a little bit there. But still side by side with Tristan Bear for fourth. Back to the battle for your lead. Martin Roberg still showing the way, but Caden Henry Oaks is still there, right hot on his heels, and they'll be side by side off of turn number 2. Door to door down the backstretch. Throws it on down to the bottom. He's been trying since the halfway break to make it happen, and still not going to happen there as Martin Roberg pulls clear once again. Caden Henry Oaks not leaving that bottom. We have a caution flag out. Looks like the 88 of Blaine Snyder may have been involved. We'll take a look back here and see what happened. And I believe that was contact with, I believe, the 05 of Tristan Bear. Looks like there might have been a little bit of prior instigation there. You get 3 wide off the corner. Tristan Bear making a little contact with the right rear quarter panel on Blaine Snyder's machine, and that'll send the 88 around. Couple cars throughout the field coming down. 05 of Tristan Bear, I believe he's making repairs to that machine. He had a couple pretty hard hits with the wall there. But Carson Lucas opting to come down and take tires. 80 to Blaine Steiner coming in for repairs as well. I believe he had a meatball there. Forced repairs. And the 15 of Brett Accord now back on the lead lap. Looks like when we get back going green here, going to be just 5 laps to go in this one. Martin Roberg still going to be showing the way here. Caden Henry Oaks second, Rodney Ayers third, Jimmy Mensch fourth, and Lane Myers in the 28 in fifth. Excuse me, when we get back going green, there'll be 6 laps to go. But once again, pace car gonna make its way down onto pit road. That'll leave it in the hands of the 37, Martin Roberg. To show the way here. Into the restart zone. Fires off, green flag back in the air. Good jump there from the 37 of Martin Roberg. Caden Henry Oaks charges back up to second. And Jimmy Mensch gonna follow him up to third. Five laps to go here at Rockingham. Martin Roberg still showing the way. Battle on here for fourth on back. Wesley Riddle and Rodney Ayers side by side for fourth. Riddle gonna clear just barely. Might have made contact with the 17 on entry. But he'll use that to his advantage and gets around the 94 as well. Up to third. And as a reminder, I think he's on the freshest tires of anybody in this top five here. So he pitted just on the previous caution. But now battle for the lead. Martin Roberg and Caden Henry Oaks side by side again into three. But Wesley Riddle looking here. Might be in the catbird seat here if anything happens. As we saw last week at Old Atlanta, anything can happen here for your race lead. Two laps to go, this time by Roberg still showing the way, but Caden Henry Oaks still to his inside. Wesley Riddle on some fresher tires, charging up here. And Jimmy Mensch as well with a big run down to the bottom. White flag in the air, and Oaks gonna have him almost clear that time by. White flag out, side by side still for your race lead. Martin Roberg to the outside in the 37. Caden Henry Oaks to the inside in the 51. Still door to door down the backstretch. Tight racing here. 48 of Wesley Riddle is still there if either of these guys slip up. Now to turn number 4. It looks like the 37 gonna have the advantage, and Martin Roberg will win here at Rockingham. Wesley Riddle in second. Caden Henry Oaks in third. Lane Myers fourth. And Jimmy Mensch rounding out your top 5. What a phenomenal race there at the end, and these guys showing each other plenty of respect. Caden Henry Oaks giving him a bump there after the checkers, just to show his congratulations to your race winner here tonight in the 37. But a phenomenal ending to a great race here. And Martin Roberg gonna be able to celebrate here on the front stretch. Absolutely burning it down all the way down the front stretch here. And there went the motor on the number 37 machine. We'll get a quick interview here with your top 3. We'll wait for them to populate the podium room, and we'll take a look back again here at the last couple laps, if we can. And that was the finish to tonight's race. But we'll get a quick interview here with your top three. We'll start off with Caden Henry Oaks, who finished in the third spot and the number 51. Hey, Caden, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Looked like a phenomenal battle up front there, especially in the latter half of this one with Martin Roberg and yourself. Walk us through that race for you.
Uh, it was nice, hard, clean racing. I've raced around Martin before, and I know that he races, hard, and he tends to give room. So I tried my best to do the same and reciprocate the respect. And he outdrove me those last couple laps and got the car rotating a little better. And I can't say I'm upset with losing that one.
Yeah, you ran a pretty good race yourself. Anybody you'd like to thank here tonight for your third place
Uh,
finish?
Shout out to the admins for letting me join. I applied not at the last minute, but pretty close to it, as I have some guys in here that I race with on the weekends and in other leagues. I thought it would be a fun series to drive because I don't get to race ARCA cars, and I enjoyed it tonight. It was a fun race.
Yeah, and thank you for your time. And we show up next week. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
That was Caden Henry Oaks, your second place finisher. And as a quick reminder, next week, first road course of the season at Lime Rock. Gonna be a pretty good race there. I believe we are. Oh, now he has jumped in. We'll get a quick interview here with your second place finisher, Wesley Riddle. Hey, Wesley, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. And looks like you made a little bit of a strategy call there later on in that race. Walk us through it from your point of view.
Yeah, I guess I thought maybe the tires would, I don't know, do a little bit. I was worried that it wasn't going to last a whole lot there on the end of the run. The run before that, there was a long stint, and I burnt them pretty quick. So I thought maybe later in that run, I was going to be a little bit slower. So I thought I better take some tires to see if I have an advantage to get around the two up front. And just because Caden and Martin were so good the whole race. So it almost paid off. I was able to kind of get up there and battle at the end, and I was really satisfied, though, walking away in second.
Yeah, it looked like a good race from your end. Anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's second place finish?
Oh, just good to be here. I was going to thank the Foreign Fuel podcast. That's our podcast that we do for NASCAR on the weekends. I know we're going to have I think a race sponsored up coming for the. I'm not sure what series we're going to do it yet. It might be the Lightning series. So, shout out to the Foreign Fuel podcast. But it was definitely good to be able to race overall. Really enjoy the day.
Yeah, and make sure to tune into that Foreign Field podcast here. Thank you for your time, and good luck next week at Lime Rock.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
That was Wesley Riddle, your second place finisher in the number 48. Now we'll get a quick word here with tonight's race winner here, Martin Roberg. Martin, this is Bobby in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
So coming from the back after qualifying ban and making your way up through the field there, walk us through that race for you.
That was one of the most fun races I've ever done. So the first run, like I had done a 40 lap run in practice, so I felt like I had an advantage there because a lot of people were conserving a lot more than they should have. So that got me up to fourth. What really got me in position was that caution that was able to get me the track position to the front, and then yeah, I mean, I don't know how it looked like from the offboard, but that was some of the most intense racing I've ever done. That like I can't say enough about that. Like I've been racing Kaden for a while, and I can trust him, and that I feel like that really showed that when you can trust a driver, you can just have an amazing battle.
Yeah, an amazing battle here tonight for the race win. First win of the season. Anybody you'd like to thank here for your win tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates Scott McCann, Carson Lucas. Want to thank Caden and really all the front runners for. This is a tough track to battle at. You know that as well as I do. Like, but those battles up front were so good. Like the whole I heard that there's been some controversies further back in the field, but from what I saw, it was just a really, really clean race. So just thanks to all the field. Yeah.
All right, we'll let you go and celebrate this win here tonight. Good luck next week at Lime Rock.
Thank you.
That was Martin Roberg in the 37-year race winner. And that'll do it from us here tonight at Capital Racing Network. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you next week at Lime Rock. And before that, on Tuesday, the J&B Modified Touring Series will be live from Cedar Lake Speedway. Make sure to tune into that one as well. And as always, thank you for watching. Peace.